as the Bulldogs and the Gators prepare to renew a rivalry that began 73 years ago. It seems the college football fans are some of the most inventive when it comes to thinking up clever sayings to go with their graffiti-type artwork, all part of the scene today as we begin a big college football doubleheader. NCAA football today from the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida. It's the annual battle between the Gators of Florida and the Bulldogs of Georgia. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Mutual of New York. Money for the future. By Pizza Hut. When it's pizza you want and nothing else will do, let yourself go to Pizza Hut. And by Home Light, the Chainsaw King. The Georgia Bulldogs began this series with a 52-0 victory 73 years ago, and they have rolled to 34 wins to 19 for Florida, including, I might add, the last 3 in a row. Well, today we have perfect weather for the renewal of this classic. It's 80 degrees. It's partly sunny here in Jacksonville, Florida at the Gator Bowl. Hello, everybody. I'm Bill Fleming, welcoming you to a very big day here on ABC Sports. We begin it with the Georgia-Florida game. We then go to Baton Rouge, Louisiana for Alabama and LSU. And then tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, an evening of boxing, including the 2 top heavyweight contenders, Kenny Norton and Jimmy Young. And it should be, all in all, quite a day. Now, this game between Georgia and Florida does not have perhaps the title implications that it's had the last 2 years. Nevertheless, it is important. Both teams are still hoping for a bowl possibility. Each has winning records so far, 5-3 for Georgia, 3-2-1 for Florida. They are each 2-2 in the Southeastern Conference race. But as you know, they're old rivals. They hate each other. Their states border each other. They've been playing ever since 1904. A sellout crowd today, 70,000 on hand. In just a moment, we'll be back to take a look at the Gators of Florida. Your blimp at one of the most colorful cities in America, Jacksonville, Florida, the home of the Gator Bowl. And, of course, the scene of the Georgia and Florida game. The Gators of Florida are 3-2-1 on the season, 2-2 in Southeastern Conference play, having beaten Mississippi State and Tennessee and losing to LSU and Auburn. Florida is a team that is definitely a very explosive team. The passing attack is not perhaps what it was a year ago with Jimmy Fisher at the throttle. Nevertheless, it is still good enough to be number 2 in the Southeastern Conference. I think the thing that is important is consistency for Florida this year. They haven't been able to maintain the offensive consistency that Coach Doug Dickey had hoped for. Nevertheless, it is an exciting team. It's an explosive team. Any team that has Wes Chandler on it has to be explosive. Now, the quarterback is a homegrown product. He's from Jacksonville, a former defensive back. His name, Terry LeCount. He's a senior this year and has taken over the quarterback chores. Probably the fastest quarterback in Florida history. And certainly this man, probably the greatest receiver that Florida has ever had. Perhaps challenging even the great Nat Moore. Now, of course, this year there has been somewhat of a change. You'll see him in the backfield occasionally as a running back. Here he is getting behind the last defender, showing how dangerous Wes Chandler can be when he is out as a wideout or a split end in the eye attack. Now, we asked Chandler himself how he felt about switching to the backfield occasionally this year, and here's what he had to say.
I enjoy being a wide receiver and running back. Adjusting to being a running back wasn't very hard for me to do because I was a running back in high school. I enjoy being a running back because it enables me to do more things besides just being a wide receiver. I can carry the ball and hopefully make some things happen as well as catching the ball.
Now, there has been a change today in the starting lineup for the Florida Gators, and I think it's worthwhile noting that Willie Wilder, a senior, has been taken out of the starting lineup. And they're going to go with a young man by the name of Tony Robinson. He wears number 46. He is a sophomore this year, but believe it or not, he has had not one single minute of playing time, and yet he is going to be in the backfield as a starter today. Of course, the mainstay is number 33, Tony Green. As a freshman back in 74, he was named the outstanding freshman of the SEC. He sports a 6.5 average, and he is the all-time leading rusher in the attack of the Florida Gators. So Tony Green, definitely number 33, a man to keep your eye on today. Now, defensively, we have some problems as far as the Florida team is concerned, but this is one man who never has a problem, Scott Hutchinson. Middle guard, 245 pounds, and as you can see, he is strong. Linebackers, Scott Brantley, number 55, and number 53, Charlie Williams, always very, very tough. In fact, Scott Brantley I think, was named as the freshman of the SEC last year. Scott Brantley is a man that I think you'll enjoy watching today, as well as all the other defenders who have really primed for a big effort this week. We talked to Coach Doug Dickey about the team this year and perhaps some of the problems that the Florida Gators have had.
We've lost 2 ball games this year in which we had a considerable number of turnovers, more than the other team. We gave up 6 fumbles in 1 ball game, had 4 interceptions in another ball game that certainly will cause you to have a lot of problems. And as a result, we lost both of those games. And hope today that we'll play a ball game where at least the breaks will be even for us, and if so, then maybe we'll have a good chance to win.
So those were the comments of Doug Dickey, and that's a brief glimpse at the Gators of Florida as the fans begin to whoop it up here in the Gator Bowl as we get closer to kickoff time. In just a moment, then, we'll take a closer look at the Bulldogs of Georgia as they prepare for this big one against their arch rivals from Florida. Bulldogs of Georgia were 10-2 and won the SEC championship and a trip to the Sugar Bowl. This year, they're 5-3 on the season, 2-2 in conference race, with wins over Ole Miss and Vanderbilt, losses to Alabama and Kentucky. Now, Georgia operates out of the bear formation. It should be noted, however, that last year, when they won the championship, they had 2 senior quarterbacks, Matt Robinson and Ray Goff. Naturally, with their graduation, Coach Vince Dooley had to revamp things. He has to go with a young sophomore quarterback by the name of Jeff Piper. He's a homegrown product, comes from Athens, probably the fastest man in the backfield, which is a little bit surprising for a quarterback. But when you see him in action, you realize what a devastating thing he can be. All he has to do now is sharpen up the passing attack. And believe me, the Georgia offense could really start rolling any week. Let's take a look at Jeff Piper, a young man whose shoulders have had to be very, very big this year in carrying the Georgia offense. We'll see him in action, and on this particular play, you'll see him go around the end and actually go ahead of his interference as he goes on a touchdown run, one of 4 that he has scored this year. Now, so far, Clyburn has only been able to pass at about a 45% clip. His favorite receiver is Jesse Murray, the split end, number 83, who has an amazing 16-yard average every time he has caught the football. The Bulldogs' leading rusher of all time is Kevin McLeod, a senior from Uniontown, Pennsylvania, holder of all of the Georgia rushing records. A year ago, he was the fastest man on the backfield. Now he is only 3rd fastest. Number 36, Willie McClendon, a big junior running back, is getting better every week. He's the guy that makes the inside stuff go, but he also is extremely fast on the outside. Now, Georgia has always been noted for defense, and the big name in defense, as far as the Junkyard Dogs are concerned, is number 44, Ben Zambezi. Zambezi, I think, has won the Defensive Player of the Game award on every single one of our telecasts of a Georgia game. He is absolutely unstoppable and loves to sack the quarterback. Also very much in evidence is going to be number 78, defensive guard Ronnie Swopes. Second only in defensive tackles, solo tackles, to Ben Zambezi. Now, the Bulldogs worked out very, very briefly yesterday here in the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, and it gave us an opportunity to talk to Vince Dooley, who is in his 14th year as the head coach of the Bulldogs.
Well, first, it's a big game for Georgia, and it's a big game for Florida. In fact, this is my 14th year coming to the Jacksonville and the Gator Bowl, and actually I came here 8 years before that as a scout. And every year, regardless of the records of the 2 teams, it's a big, big football game. A big game for the schools, for the fans. It's been a big game in other years. It's been a championship game. This particular year, it's important to both of us because we don't have quite the seasons that we've had the last 2 years. But the rivalry is intense. The crowd is great. And now both teams will be ready to play.
Well, the Bulldogs won't lack for inspiration today. They've got their marching band here all the way from Athens. And as a matter of fact, the Gator band from the University of Florida is over on the far side of the field. So indeed, we have a very, very colorful afternoon in store for us. We had a couple of inches of rain yesterday and last night. The field, of course, was covered and it is in perfect condition. The rain stopped about 3 o'clock this morning. We understand it's going up the eastern seaboard, so if you happen to be shut in on the eastern seaboard this afternoon, why, join us here in beautiful sunshine and 80-degree weather here in Jacksonville, Florida. Again, let me repeat, this is the start of a big NCAA doubleheader. Is Georgia and Florida in this one, then we'll have the Credentials College scoreboard, then going to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Tiger Stadium for Alabama and LSU in the renewal of their fierce rivalry. After that game, of course, we'll take a little respite in our sports. Return at 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight for a big night of boxing here on ABC with the two top heavyweight contenders. We have Kenny Norton and Jimmy Young battling it out. The winner, of course, has been promised a shot at the title of Muhammad Ali. Right now, on the field, the Georgia Bulldog Marching Band made that long 8-hour drive from Athens to participate in the activities here today in Jacksonville. We might mention, too, that even though there are no title implications in this game, because it would be pretty hard for them to think in terms of dethroning Alabama with a 5-0 mark with 2 losses apiece, each team does have bowl aspirations for the holiday weekend of 77-78. Both mascots, by the way, are here today. The Gator, the Alligator from Florida, and Ugga, the lovable Bulldog from the University of Georgia. So that pretty well sets the scene for us today in this renewal of this ancient rivalry between Florida and Georgia. We'll be back here in Jacksonville at the Gator Bowl with a final word in just a moment. From the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida, this is Bill Fleming inviting you to join us for ABC's exclusive telecast of the Gators of Florida against the Bulldogs of Georgia, coming up next.
We had a lot of rain in Jacksonville, Florida last night, but clear skies, sunshine today, and as usual, 70,000 capacity at the Gator Bowl. Looking on, the big one in Jacksonville annually, Georgia against Florida. And this ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by all the new 1978 Chevrolets, now at your Chevrolet dealers everywhere. By the makers of Tiempo steel-belted radials, a new kind of tire for every kind of weather. Keep it on season after season. And by Brill Cream, regular and anti-dandruff Brill Cream for men who use their heads about their hair. And out onto the field at the Gator Bowl come the Gators of the University of Florida. 3 wins, 2 losses, 1 tie, 2-2 in the conference. They were in the thick of the conference race until last week's upset at the hands of Auburn when Jorge Portela kicked 5 field goals. The Florida Gators, coached by Doug Dickey, and now out of the tunnel come the Bulldogs of Georgia, coached by Vince Dooley, with over 100 career wins to his credit. 5 wins, 3 losses for the defending Southeast Conference champions. 2-2 in the SEC in 1977. The Georgia Bulldogs come out of the field at the Gator Bowl. Hello, everybody. I'm Al Michaels, along with the longtime former coach at Arkansas, Frank Broyles. And in this game, Frank, despite the fact that teams are 2-2, it's not pivotal in the SEC race. Don't tell that to the fans, however. Kickoff is 12:50 Eastern Time Saturday. The fans, though, kicked off for this one, I think, Thursday at 4 o'clock.
The 35,000 Georgia fans have hit Jacksonville like a tidal wave. But this is an area that makes college football so exciting now. The fans are here. They're active. They're involved. They want to pump up their football team. State pride is at stake.
So we're just about set to tee it up. The Bulldogs of Georgia, the Gators of Florida at the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville before a packed house. Back with a kickoff right after this message. 70,000 at the Gator Bowl. And as far as partisanship is concerned, I don't think you'll be able to distinguish very much today, because what they do is they apportion the tickets evenly. 35,000 go to Athens for the Georgia backers, and the other 35,000 wind up going through Gainesville, home of the University of Florida. So you've got 35,000 rooting for Florida, the same number for Georgia. The captains meeting with the officials at midfield. And let's listen in.
Tony Green, number 36, David Johnson, number 66, Scott Hutchinson, number 53, Carlin Williams, and number 79, David Forrester. For Georgia, the captains today, number 61, Jeff Lewis, number 44, Ben Zambezi, number 65, Steve Collier, number 66, George Collins, and number 39, Kevin McLeod.
Referee today is Joe Hicks. He is from Birmingham, Alabama.
Austin, Mr. Gaskin,
Meeting with the captains at midfield prior to the start of the Georgia-Florida game.
You be the home team. You're the best in team. We call you white, call you red. Call the corn while it's in the air. If it hits the ground, I toss it again. This is heads. This is tails. While it's in the air. Tails, he calls it. It's heads. You win the toss. He will receive.
Florida will defend the south goal.
So Georgia has won the toss. They will receive, defending the south goal, the goal to your right. The wind is no factor at all right now. Very limp. Flags are limp. Temperature in the high 70s. The Bulldogs coming in with a record of 5-3. 2 wins, 2 losses. They were depleted through graduation losses, and they're the Florida Gators. Also 2-2 in the SEC, 3-2-1. Overall, last week, upset at the hands of the Auburn Tigers. So the Georgia Bulldogs will receive when they have the ball. Here are the men who will lead the way.
IGS, Social Science and Education. Jim Marlowe, Educational Biology. Ray Donaldson, Recreation. George Collins, Business Education. Steve Collier, Business.
The offensive line for Georgia, as Florida gets set to kick off, number 1 is George Premier, whose brother kicked off for several years. Back deep to receive for Georgia. The deep man is number 19, Scott Warner, a defensive back. So the Gators and the Bulldogs from the Gator Bowl. A big weekend always in Jacksonville. And here we go. Ukrainian's kick will be taken by Warner at the 4-yard line. And Klopp picks it up at the 2. Breaks one tackle, gets outside the 10, and is dumped at the 12-yard line. So Georgia starts deep in its own territory. Here's the Bulldog backfield.
Jeff Pyburn, Pre-Law. Kevin McLeod, Business Education. William McClendon, Social Works.
McLee and McClendon normally play about 80% of the time. They are both straight-ahead runners. They normally run tackle to tackle. McLee is Georgia's all-time leading ball carrier, and only the second man in Georgia history to rush for over 1,000 yards in a season. Jeff Pyburn, the quarterback, already starting with an audible, and it's McClendon, the faster of the running backs, who kicks it out to the 19-yard line. Gain of 6. Here are the Bulldog receivers.
Jesse Murray, Business Education. Ulysses Norris, Recreation. Mark Hodge, Business.
And Murray, Norris, and Hodge may see more action today than they have been through the course of the season to try to exploit the weakness in Florida's secondary. It is 2nd down and 4 from the 19-yard line. Pyburn, who's quick. First down, 25 to the 30. Friction calls at the 31-yard line. 12-yard pickup for Pyburn, a fine running quarterback. Here it is from the end zone, Frank.
Pyburn is the fastest back Georgia has. It's the counter option, a good block by McLeod. He
cuts inside the defensive end, never getting to the corner for a nice gain.
Ball at the 32-yard line. The Bulldogs with the game's first down. Just the start of things in the Gator Bowl. Georgia and Florida. And this is Kevin McLeod looking for room and finding very little. Swarming forward for about a yard. It'll be second down and 9 as we take a look at the Gator defense. Second down and 9 upcoming at the 33-yard line. Ruth, Flournoy, Hutchinson is a good one. King and Dupree, the defensive line. The linebackers are excellent for Florida, Brantley and Hutchinson. The secondary is inexperienced and injury depleted. It is second down and 9. Tyburn, after faking to McLeod, keeps and takes it out to the 38-yard line. And it'll be third down at about 5. We'll see Tyburn run a lot. Frank mentioning that he is the quickest of the backs. And in looking at the game film from Georgia in prior games, Frank, we noticed the running backs normally go straight ahead. Tyburn's the man who takes it outside.
After he's faked to the dive back, draws the crowd, then he keeps it outside.
Third down. 5. Tyburn looks to pitch and does to McClendon, and he is tackled at the 41-yard line. He is shy of a first down. Charlie Williams, 53, the linebacker, and Skipper Teague, number 16, the cornerback, in to make the stop. They spotted out close to the 42-yard line, but they are shy of the first down by less than a yard. And the Bulldogs will punt. Mike Garrett is their kicker, number 6. Garrett averaging 38.5 yards per punt. Wes Chandler back as the single safety for Florida. Garrett gets it away, and Chandler signals for a fair catch and makes it at the 19-yard line. So the Gators will take over. Florida will have a first down at their own 19-yard line after a 39-yard kick by Mike Garrett. So 12:14 to go in the first quarter at the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville. Georgia nothing, Florida nothing. Florida Gators have the ball at their own 19-yard line. Florida on offense. Here are the men who will lead the way.
Forester, agriculture business. Mark Newton, recreation. Mark Totten, broadcast journalism and speech. Don Swapper, business. Dennis Foster, food and resource economics.
And on first down, Tony Green, Florida's all-time leading ball carrier, gets it out to the 22-yard line. Jim Griffith making the stop for Georgia, number 47. It'll be second down and 7. Wes Chandler split wide to the right. Florida will work out of the eye and also the wishbone. When they work out of the bone, Chandler becomes a running back at right half. This is Green again, stumbling as he got the handoff and falling forward to the 25-yard line. Jeff Lewis, number 61. Makes the stop for the Bulldogs.
Georgia's quickness on defense is very evident in these first two plays.
That is probably the main strength of the Bulldogs, a team that was severely hurt by graduation losses, Frank, but they've been staying in all of their games because of that defense.
That's correct.
Third down, 5 at the 24-yard line. They give it to Green on a delay, and Green takes it out to the 32-yard line and has a first down. So Green has carried the ball 3 times. Florida has a first down. Here is the Florida backfield.
Taylor Count, speech major. Tony Green, speech. Wes Chandler, speech. Tony Robinson, recreation.
Well, it would figure that Robinson would be different. He is the only non-speech major in the backfield. He is also starting for the first time this season. They initially were going to redshirt him. First down, Florida at the Gator 32-yard line. And again, it's Green carrying it out to the 34-yard line. When Florida goes to the air with LeCount, here are the men he'll be looking for.
Garrett Gaffney, public relations. Lewis Gilbert, physical education.
Florida second down and 8 at the Gator 34-yard line. If you've just picked this up, we're about 4.5 minutes into the game. Georgia nothing, Florida nothing. Chandler. Quick speed, accelerates quickly, and exploits it out to the 42-yard line.
They have a penalty.
Parker down at the 35-yard line. As you look at the
Georgia defense, a good one. Referee Joe Hicks, the penalty against Florida. And discussing the options right now with number 61, the linebacker, Jeff Lewis.
Chandler looked good on that first run. This is only his third game as a running back after 3 years as a split receiver, but he was a running back in high school.
Illegal motion against Florida moves the ball back to the 29-yard line. It'll be second down. 13, Florida from their own 29. 5 minutes into the game. No score. They try the same play again, and this time Georgia able to bottle it up. Jeff Lewis making the shot. A lot of people think Chandler is the best receiver in the country. And Doug Dickey utilizing the exceptional talents of the man you see right there, number 89, running him out of a running back spot when they go to the wishbone.
Here's the wishbone backfield. Just a handoff, power play inside, but Georgia reacted beautifully to it. Cornerback, outside linebacker, and safety involved in the play.
On 3rd and 12, this time they come up in the eye. Chandler is split wide to the right, and LeCount is rolling right. LeCount looking downfield. Chandler is covered, and LeCount is run out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Robert Goodwin, number 99, with a pursuit for Georgia. So they had Chandler well covered. He was split wide to the right, went downfield, ran an out pattern, was covered well, and LeCount had to eat it, and Florida will have to kick it, and they've got a good punter, number 2, Alan Williams. He is third in the country coming into the game, averaging 45.4 per kick. Scott Warner back as the single safety for Georgia. Marker is down, and Warner might have lost it in the sun. It bounces down to the 16-yard line, but there's a marker down at the line of scrimmage.
Alan Williams
with a 43-yard kick.
Ball is dead on the 16.
One of the don'ts of the kicking game. Don't let the ball hit the ground, but he had no choice. He lost it in the sun. He had to get away from it. Fearful of a fumble. I'm sure if the penalties against Florida, they'll refuse the penalty if it's a 5-yard penalty. That punt efficiency was very good. 43 yards, no return. Starts Georgia back on the 16-yard line.
Well, you can see, Frank, that all of the good kickers in the country do not come out of your former conference, the Southwest Conference.
We've got 3 of the best, as you know.
You betcha.
Georgia declined by the Gators. First down, Bulldogs on their own.
Ball spotted at the 16 of Georgia. The Bulldogs will take over there. Their second offensive possession of the game. First down and 10 at the 16-yard line. Pyburn, the quarterback. McLean and McClendon are the running backs. And it's McClendon hit initially in the backfield and then dumped at the 15-yard line for a loss of 1. Sylvester King, number 73, and Richard Ruth, 52. In on the play for Florida. Here's a look at Terry LeCount, number 7, the Florida quarterback. Very quick. There his passing figures.
Second down, 11.
He was a running back, a wide receiver, a defensive back in his first 3 years, and this is his first time as a quarterback.
Timeout, Georgia.
Runs back kicks. Georgia will take a timeout here with 8:49 to go in the first quarter. Timeout, Bulldogs. No score at Jacksonville. From the Goodyear Blimp, you look down on Jacksonville, Florida, the Gator Bowl. Scene of the first half of today's doubleheader on ABC at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. LSU and Alabama. Right now, Georgia, second down and 11. Jeff Pyburn looking to throw, but is dropped at the 14-yard line. Mel Flournoy, number 94, applying the pressure for Florida. So the Florida secondary, which is suspect, they've really been hurt by injuries, by academic losses, doing the job that time.
Their cornerback just sank, as we say, in front of the wide receiver. Pyburn had nobody to throw to. He very wisely ate the ball.
Loss of 1, third down, 12, Georgia from the Bulldogs' 14-yard line. Pyburn keeping and scrambles forward to the 17-yard line. So again, the punting unit will come in for the Bulldogs. They'll have to kick it away for the second time. Mike Garrett, number 6, to do the kicking.
Florida has 10 on the line of scrimmage.
So they'll put the rush on. Single safety is Wes Chandler. He stands back at his 35, and here they come. But Garrett gets it away. Chandler wisely elects to call for the fair catch as he's surrounded by 7 red shirts. And, of course, with the rush on, West had nobody back there. Once the kick left the foot of Garrett, there was little doubt in Chandler's mind as to what he was going to do. No time to be a hero.
No time. You're by yourself. Catch it. Let the team get started in good field position. Florida is started from the 20 the first time. Now they're at the 44.
Terry LeCompte, the quarterback, number 7. Tony Robinson, 46, is the fullback in the eye. Tony Green, 33, is the tailback. LeCompte pitching back to Green, who slips and falls at the 44-yard line. Jeff Lewis in on the stop as you look at Georgia's head coach, Vince Dooley, brother Bill, the head coach in North Carolina.
Vince has had a great record at Georgia. Really a fine gentleman, a great coach.
No gain on the last play, 2nd down and 10. Gators from their own 44-yard line. Green off the right side and out to the 47-yard line. Friedman making the tackle. Green, Florida's all-time leading ball carrier. He surpassed the career mark of Larry Smith earlier this season. He is one of several elite Florida backs. When it comes to speed, there is really no comparison between these two teams. Florida has it.
Florida has speed at the running backs and wide receivers, and Georgia does not.
3rd down, 7. Out of the wishbone this time. LeCompte gets protection to the 50, and down to the 48-yard line goes Wes Chandler, making his first reception of the day. Bill Krug, the rover back for Georgia, up to make the stop.
This is just a screen pass or flare pass out to Chandler, who faked the block, safety valve. He throws it behind the line, and Doug Dickey says there's no equal in the country to Wes Chandler once he gets his hands on the football.
So Florida to kick. Alan Williams, 3rd in the nation, getting it away. And they'll try to down it inside the 10, and they'll be able to as it goes out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Good coverage by Florida that time. And Williams has pinned Georgia in a hole. So again, the Bulldogs will take over for their 3rd possession of the day, all of them deep in their own territory.
And kicking has been responsible of it. The coaches know that the way to get field position, keep a team backed up, is with the kicking game, and then the defense must take over and force a very quick return kick so they can have a chance to score.
5 minutes and 50 seconds to go. First quarter, Georgia and Florida. No score. Jeff Pyburn, the quarterback. Fakes to McLee, and then pitches to McClendon. And some room to the 10, to the 15, to the 20. McClendon, he can run 40, one man to beat, and he's tackled at the 40-yard line of Florida by the last man who had a shot, Tim Ike, number 29.
That was the counter option. He fakes to McClendon, takes the ball to the corner. The defensive end then takes him. He pitches out. The tight end, Norris, makes a key block on the cornerback, knocking him outside, creating the alley. And then McLee just runs through it. McClendon.
And for McClendon, a 51-yard pickup to the Florida 41-yard line. 1st and 10, Georgia. McLee, a fumble at the 40-yard line. And Georgia maintains possession.
Pyburn showed good poise on that option play. He faked the dive back and very cautiously took the ball outside, and to pitch it off your own 10-yard line takes a lot of courage, a lot of practice, a lot of execution.
McClendon's 51-yard run, his longest of the season. He ran for 50 against Oregon in the season opener. It is 2nd down and 10. Georgia at the Florida 41-yard line. Pyburn going back of the intended receiver and nearly picked off. Ulysses Morris, the intended receiver on the play. It'll be 3rd down. Charlie Williams put the rush on Pyburn, whose father is one of the defensive coaches for Georgia. Jeff Pyburn's father, Jim, coaches the defensive ends and linebackers. And if you're a baseball nut, you might remember Jim Pyburn played with the Baltimore Orioles.
Both pro football and pro baseball.
Played with the Orioles in the mid-50s, outfield and 3rd base. 3rd down and 10. Pyburn has time. Going long. Completed the 15-yard line to Jesse Murray. pickup. Clyburn to Jesse Murray, and the Bulldogs start to knock on the door. They'll spot it at 14 as we look again from the end zone.
Here's Pipen from dropping back to pass on a half roll. The receiver goes in and back out. The defensive quarterback drops. He puts it right on target. Letter perfect. Murray for the big play.
So two big plays on this drive. The run by McClendon. That catch to the 14-yard line. 1st and 10, Georgia. It is McLean pulling forward and fighting for a couple down to the 12. Mel Flournoy in on the stop. Doug Dickey looks on from the Florida bench. Dickey formerly coached at Tennessee, and before that he was an assistant under Frank Broyles at Arkansas.
I coached him at Florida, and he's an outstanding man. He joined my coaching staff when I first went to Arkansas. Was with me 6 years before he went to Tennessee as head coach.
Ball at the 11-yard line. 2nd down, 7. No score. 4:25 to go in the first quarter. Clyburn pitching back to McLean to the outside, inside the 10, and out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Chuck Hatch caught up with him, the free safety. Stopping the clock with a shade over 4 minutes to go in the quarter. Long drive, starting on the 6-yard line. Georgia getting out of the hole on a run by McClendon. Then the pass from Clyburn to Morris. And now they're at the 6 with a 3rd and 2. Jesse Murray goes wide to the left. The running back, McLean 39. McClendon 36. It's McLean. And scrambles for a first down.
Two outstanding runs, Al. Very little blocking, but he just made it on his own ability. Cut inside the quarterback.
Kevin McLean, as you can see, had a big day last year, the nationally televised game between Georgia and Florida, a game which Georgia came from behind to win, 41-27. 1st and goal, Bulldogs at the Gator 3. McLean again, after a gain of 1 to the 2. Stopped on the play by Chuck Hatch. 25 again coming up. So 2nd down and goal on a drive that started at the Bulldog 6 after the punt by Alan Williams. McLean has now carried the ball 6 times for 15 yards. Georgia, 2nd down, goal. Clyburn, pitching, McClendon, touchdown. The Bulldogs have the lead. So it was McClendon who really got the drive started with a 51-yard run, and then he culminates it with a 2-yard run.
That was a remarkable drive. 90-some-odd yards, 2 big plays in it by McClendon, a run and a pass to Murray, and a good block by Murray set the stage so McClendon could take the ball into the end zone.
Rex Robinson, who is 10 out of 11, an extra point attempt, makes it 11 out of 12. And with 3 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the first quarter at the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, it's Georgia 7, Florida nothing. There are the figures on the Bulldog drive. That's something, Frank Broyles, that they have not done very much this year.
They have not made the big play offensively in any game this year with any consistency. Bill Pace told me they were going to have to throw against the weakened part of the defense, and they did.
Carry Long kicking off for Georgia. This is Chris Collinsworth, who is the 2nd-string quarterback, taking it at the 5, 15, the 20, and Collinsworth driven down at the 29-yard line. Coming in to make the stop, Pat Collins, number 28. So Florida will try to move it from their own 29-yard line.
The momentum is definitely in Georgia's favor. If you move 94 yards, 96 yards early in the ball game, you've got it going for you. The other team are a little bit discouraged. They're going to have to come back and show a lot of persistence here. New quarterback.
New quarterback is Collinsworth, who ran the kickback. He's a freshman, 6 feet 4. And he is faster than LeCount, if you can believe that. And carrying the ball is another freshman, number 36, David Johnson. who gets it out to the 32-yard line. Coming up this Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time, NFL Monday Night Football, the Washington Redskins and the Baltimore Colts. The Colts 6-1 on the year. George Allen's Redskins 4-3. 9 o'clock Eastern time, Washington against Baltimore over most of these ABC stations. It is 2nd down and 7. Florida from the Gators 32-yard line. And it is Johnson again. Through the middle out to the 34-yard line. Gordon Terry made the stop. Doug Dickey, what he's done is he's really shifted backfields in total here.
Right, yes, he's had a young backfield. He was going to play some probably on the 3rd possession, and he stuck to his game plans. Put in those freshman backs on the 3rd possession. Takes a lot of courage to do that.
Collinsworth, the quarterback. Willie Wilder is the fullback, number 44. Collinsworth looking to pitch, gets it back to Johnson. The Georgia reads it perfectly at the 33-yard line. Robert Goodwin, the defensive left end, moving out, read the play well, makes the stop, and Florida will have to kick it away again.
Georgia plays an 8-man front. It's much different than most teams play a 7-man defensive front. It's hard to run wide. You've got to make something up the middle and throw.
Alan Williams to do the kicking. His 3rd punch. Scott Warner back as the signal safety at the Bulldog 30-yard line. He's had problems with the sun on the preceding pitch. Williams gets this one away. And Warner, with the cloud cover now, makes the catch and wishes he hadn't. Buried.
Georgia has covered punts exceptionally well this year. They're 3rd in the nation on punt efficiency.
Kick taken by Warner. The tackle
That's a very important statistic.
First down, Georgia.
It put Georgia in a hole the last time. However, the Bulldogs came out of it by going 94 yards in 9 plays.
It's been all Georgia so far with a mixed offense, passing and running inside and outside.
A minute and a half to go in the quarter. First down, Georgia at the Georgia 30. Georgia leading 7-0. Clyburn pushing it back to the freshman running back, Ronnie Stewart, number 27, who takes it out to the 33-yard line. Gain of 7, Scott Brantley and Richard Ruth combining to make the stop. There are the figures on Stewart. He has not been used very much, as you can see, but he is a good future prospect for the Bulldogs. He and Womack, number 25, a pair of freshmen, are the running backs right now. Stewart again. You can see him accelerate into Florida territory and drop to the 48-yard line. Chuck Hack made the tackle from the end zone.
It's the companion play to the triple option. The quarterback reverse turn, lets the linemen set up their blocks on the linebackers. Stewart just pops right in the secondary. The only man between him and the score is the safety man, number 25, who makes the play.
Ronnie Stewart, 5'10". He's a freshman from Tampa. First down at the 48-yard line. Stewart again, nothing doing. At the 48-yard line, Scott Hutchinson, 66, losing his helmet but making the tackle.
Scott Hutchinson is an excellent nose guard. Here's Hutchinson, number 66, double team, still gets loose in time to make the tackle. Head up tackle.
And that's the end of the first quarter. So the end of the first quarter at the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida. It's been all Georgia so far. End of 1, 7-0 Bulldogs. With Frank Broyles and Bill Fleming, this is Al Michaels at the Gator Bowl as you take a look at the panoramic shot of Jacksonville, Florida. 23rd largest city in population in the country and first in geographic size. And we start the second quarter. It is 2nd down, 10. Georgia at the Florida 48-yard line. Clyburn on what might have been a broken play. Inside the 45, inside the 40, and a first down at the 38-yard line.
Here are the first quarter stats. As you can see, it's all Georgia. 5 first downs to 1, 115 yards to 17, 26 passes to 4. But here's Clyburn injured on the play.
Clyburn rolled out of bounds and getting some assistance right now. Jeff Clyburn, the quarterback, he was hurt earlier this season. There he is. He was hurt in the game against South Carolina. the third game of the year. He missed the Alabama game. Came back the next week.
Here it is on the trap option, Al. The end runs, takes the pitch back, leaves him an opening inside. He heads for the boundary and the first down, which a quarterback should. He's trying to get outside. And, wow, where he hurt it, I guess the defensive lineman fell across his ankle behind these linemen that Florida men we couldn't see. The only thing could have happened.
So a very bad break here for the Bulldogs, as they have lost at least temporarily.
He's injured, Al.
Yep, their number one quarterback, Jeff Clyburn. Clyburn, a sophomore from Athens, Georgia, home of the University of Georgia. And coming off to be replaced by number 14, Steve Rogers.
A lot of coaches have quit running option plays and gone to passing quarterbacks because of this very reason. We've had a rash of quarterback injuries in the Southwest Conference, in the Big 8, the Big 10, everywhere.
That's the obvious risk you run when you've got a quarterback who does run.
And I think college football is headed in the direction of passing. The defenses are stacking against the run and forcing the quarterback to execute.
Well, you're looking at a fellow who's a pretty good drop-back passer right now. Steve Rogers, his figures on the year, 10 completions out of 18 attempts. First down, Georgia at the Florida 37-yard line. In the initial stages of the second quarter, a fumble at the 31-yard line, and the Gators recover. On the bottom of the pile, coming up for the ball is number 94, Melvin Flournoy. So the Gators get a break. We'll see it again.
Scott Hutchins, number 66, penetrates. Even though Rogers in for the first play, the fumble is caused by the penetration of Hutchinson. He grabs Rogers and could not reach the back for the handoff. Ball's on the ground, and the Gators get a break.
So Stewart coughs it up. The Gators take over. They're at their own 31-yard line. Come up in the wishbone. With Gaffney split wide to the left. Green to the 35-yard line. Tony Green carries for about 3.
Al, we've played the Georgia defense, the junkyard dogs. They never give you a head-on blocking assignment. They shoot the gap, they line up all set, confuse your blocking, and make the lineman hesitate in coming off. This is what looks apparent today with Florida.
And they've had a lot of success so far today. Florida really unable to muster anything offensively in the first quarter. We'll see about the second with Collinsworth at quarterback, giving the ball to Tony Robinson. Straight ahead for a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 5 coming up. As they work on Clyburn. The right knee on the Georgia bench.
He's in pain. Very tough blow to the Georgia Bulldogs.
Clyburn hurt when he was run out of bounds. After a fumble, the Gators have it back. 3rd down and 5. Collinsworth back to throw. Backs to run. Gets to the 40 after the 41-yard line. He's very close to a first down. Lewis Friedman making the tackle at the 41-yard line. And let's check in with Bill Fleming.
All right, we have a report now from Ann Arbor. Northwestern's Wildcats are leading Michigan by the score of 7-0.
I'm not believing it, Bill.
Well, it's the Wildcats moved 98 yards in a drive, climaxed by a 68-yard pass from Scott Stransky to his wide receiver. So the Wolverines are down with a minute to go in the first quarter. All right, back to you, Al.
Thank you, Bill. They came up short on the 3rd down effort, 4th and less than a yard, and will have to kick it away. Allen Williams, his 4th kick of the day, and this one I think will be his best as it goes out of bounds at the 23-yard line. So Williams angling it, and Georgia to take over. So Florida still unable to get anything going offensively. They started Terry LeCount at quarterback, and then with Chris Collinsworth, but the Georgia defense has just been too tough. 12 minutes and 51 seconds to go in the first half of the Gator Bowl, with Georgia leading Florida 7-0.
Since 1933, the first season for Southeastern Conference football, Florida and Georgia have met every year in Jacksonville, borderline city for both states. Some 70,000 fans squeeze in, approximately half supporting each school, and inspire their teams to high-spirited competition and unusually close scores.
Al Michaels with Frank Broyles and Bill Fleming at the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville. It's been all Georgia so far. The Bulldogs have dominated. They lead 7-0, but they have lost at least temporarily the services of their first-string quarterback, Jeff Clyburn. Must go now with number 14, Steve Rogers, as they take over at their own 23-yard line. 1st and 10. McClendon, no room at all. Stopped immediately by Scott Hutchinson, the very fine middle guard from Winter Park, Florida. 6'4". Well, Clyburn injured. Let's check up, get an injury report on the Georgia quarterback with Bill Fleming.
Well, the report is simply this. He injured the knee where he had a cartilage problem earlier in the season. So, Al, I don't know. It doesn't look now as if maybe he'll get back this ball game.
All right, Bill. Clyburn injuring the knee initially in the game against South Carolina, then missing the Alabama game. Rogers pitching it at the last moment to McClendon, but not fooling the Gators. Stopped at the 24-yard line. Tim Ike coming up from the cornerback spot, number 29, to make the tackle.
When Vince Nunes saw him pitch, he wishes he had the ball back. Bad place to lateral from your own 25-yard line with only a couple steps before the boundary.
And Frank, that's been part of Georgia's problem this season. They've already fumbled 41 times. They've made a lot of key mistakes. The 41 fumbles already a school record, only 8 games into the season.
How do you explain it?
3rd down and 9. Bulldogs from the 24. Hutchinson forcing the fumble. The ball is loose at the 12, and the Gators have it at the 12-yard line. Hutchinson came roaring through to turn the ball loose. And we have him isolated. Watch 66.
Hutchinson slams to the field. The guard did not block down. He grabbed the quarterback, knocked the ball loose, stripped him of the ball, and he's taking charge. That's what a defense needs. Here he is slanting to the field, reaching out and stripping the quarterback of the ball. A big lineman like that, Al, can take charge and fire your team up for plays like this.
Well, we just talked about the Georgia fumbles, and there's a key one there. They're second in the game, so Lester King made the recovery. 1st down, Gators at the Georgia 12 with LeCount back in at quarterback and throwing incomplete. Chandler, the intended receiver, west of the end zone, covered well. Pass overthrown. And 2nd down upcoming. Bobby Thompson, the quarterback, was there with Chandler.
Some people might wonder why they threw on 1st down. I know Georgia brings everybody. When you get a break like this and they're backed up against their goal line, they bring 9 people. They're playing the 2 wide receivers, man for man. They thought that their wide receivers would get open.
Chandler wide to the right on 2nd down, out of the eye. The fake to Green. LeCount going to the end zone again with Chandler. Touchdown. What a catch. Wes Chandler. There are a lot of people who think he is the best receiver in the country. And here is evidence.
LeCount fakes to the tailback, Green up the middle. Chandler is going right down the middle over the safety man's head. He throws it high, and look at this beautiful one-handed catch. The foot came down inside the back goal line, end zone line. You can see Georgia's in man-for-man coverage. Mismatch. No one can cover Chandler man-for-man if they get protection before.
Berger Premier's kick is good. So they capitalize on the break. After the fumble, we've got a flag down on the extra point attempt, however. Marker is down as Jupremian kicked it through. So we'll see about the penalty. If it's against Georgia, we are tied. And it is against Georgia. Offside, decline. Extra point is good by Jupremian. 11:30 to go in the first half. And after the fumble, after Hutchinson had created the fumble, driving through, jarring the ball loose from Rogers, they move in on a 12-yard pass from LeCount to Chandler. So with 11 and a half to go in the half, a 7-7 tie at the Gator Bowl. I guess Lou Piniella has nothing on that man right there. A one-handed catch in the end zone of a LeCount pass. We're tied at 7-7. Wes Chandler. Career touchdown reception number 23. So Chandler is tied it for Florida. Berger Premian to kick off. Scott Warner is back with 11:30 to go in the first half. Good kick, 6 yards deep, and Warner will down it there. And Chandler's catch certainly worth another look.
Here's another look. He leaps high, grabs the ball with his right hand, right at the point, comes down with his right foot, which makes it a touchdown. He is one of the great receivers of all time. in the Southeastern Conference.
Very versatile. Catches passes. He's been used as a running back. Runs back kicks. A senior. He'll go high in the draft. Rogers is the quarterback. At the 20-yard line. And Rogers moves it out to the 25-yard line. So Steve Rogers transferred from the Naval Academy, second-string Georgia quarterback, taking over for Jeff Tyburn with a knee injury.
Had the red shirt 1 year because of the transfer.
And coming home his hometown, Jacksonville, Florida. 70,000 at the Gator Bowl today. It is second down and a tad less than 5. Just outside the 25. Rogers again. Pitching it back to the 30. McClendon, 40, 45. Touchback, Willie McClendon. 30 to 20. He'll go all the way. His second long run of the afternoon. Touchdown, Georgia. 75 yards. Willie McClendon. Earlier he went 51 yards. Now 75.
On the replay, it's the option play. He delays his pitch, and great block by the tight end, Norris. McClendon goes all the way. But now what I'm trying to say, you would think that Florida with an inexperienced secondary would get hurt on the passes. Really where they get hurt on run support. Their cornerback was much too slow coming up to support.
Rex Robinson's extra point is good. So after Florida ties it on Chandler's great pass, the Bulldogs come roaring right back. Willie McClendon, who's had runs of 51 and 75 yards today. But Georgia back up on top.
Norris set up the play because he was able to turn downfield and block Florida's cornerback. This is a no-no. The cornerback has got to penetrate across the line of scrimmage, so the defensive end cannot get a block downfield. This is inexperienced secondary.
14-7 Georgia. Let's check in right now with Bill Fleming.
All right, and we have a first quarter score now with Penn State and North Carolina State. Quarterback Chuck Fusina throwing a 36-yard touchdown pass to Jimmy Cephalo. And Penn State's Nittany Lions are out in front 7-0.
All right, Bill. Here is 14-7 Georgia. 10:41 to go in the half. This is the first half of a big Southeastern Conference doubleheader on ABC today. 4 o'clock Eastern time. We'll go to Baton Rouge, where the Bear has his troops ready. Alabama taking on LSU, and with a comeback by LSU last week, down 21-0 to Mississippi. They came from behind to win it 28-21.
Charlie Alexander is one of the best backs in America.
Gary Long kicking off for Georgia, taken by Collinsworth, the quarterback, 2 yards deep, and he gives it on the reverse to Carr, to the 10, Carr to the 15, the 20, and Carr run out of bounds at the 28-yard line.
They came to play. Big ball game. Pull out all the stops. Reverse on the kickoff.
Well, it's ironic. Georgia really noted for its defense coming in. They hadn't done much offensively this year, but they've done plenty today. And there is McClendon. On the day, he's carried the ball 8 times for 140 yards. The Florida touchdown today on the 12-yard pass from the count and a one-handed catch by Wes Chandler. LeCount at quarterback at the 27-yard line out of the wishbone. First down, Gators. Wilder straight ahead out to the 30-yard line. Wilder has been fumble-prone this year. As a consequence, he didn't start today. Robinson did. But Wilder can break it. He's very fast.
They were going to use Wilder in the wishbone because he is such a threat carrying the ball. Using 2 offenses can help you. It can also hurt you. You don't know which offense to use. Your team sometimes get confused, not knowing whether they're going to use the eye or the wishbone. But it can hurt the defense also.
It really hasn't hurt Georgia very much today. They've done the job defensively. It is second down and 7. LeCount has time. Looks to the left side. Complete out to the 35-yard line. To the 40-yard line. Tony Green, the running back, takes it out to the 41-yard line. Denny Woods, the cornerback from Center, Alabama, Up to make the stop, number 37.
McCount showed some poise there. He got back to pass. They covered Chandler going wide. The swing man, Green, was out open. He very comfortably threw the ball out for a first down.
McCount has completed 3 out of 4 for 28 yards and a touchdown. First down here, first down at the 41-yard line. Florida with the ball and trailing by 7. Wilder through the middle to the 44-yard line for a pickup of 3. Lewis Friedman, number 59, making the tackle. Terry McCount. Last year, he was a defensive back in this game. If you can recall, he intercepted a pass at the goal line and ran it back 55 yards. He's also been a wide receiver.
Very versatile.
He's a senior from Jacksonville, so playing before the home folks. Second down and 7 at the 44. McCount with a fake under intense pressure, but scrambles loose and then carries out to midfield. Gets to the 50-yard line and very close to a first down. Ben Zambezi, who they bottled up rather well on defense, along with Bill Krug, made the stop. Zambezi, number 44, Krug, number 42.
That's the first time that we've seen McCount really take charge when the receivers were covered. Out of the field, he's hesitated, and the rush finally got to him. This time, the receivers were covered, and he took off like a good quarterback.
Third down and less than a yard. At the Georgia 49-yard line. And McCount will pull straight ahead to try to pick up the first down, and I think he has it.
Coaches always worry where the referee's going to spot the ball.
Exactly.
Big pile up. They hold their breath when they see him mark it.
If he's at the 49-yard line, he has the first down, and he does. He gets it inside the 49.
Quite obviously, Florida.
Fake to Green. McCount has time. Intercepted at the 38-yard line. To the 50. Jim Griffith tries to pitch it back at the 43-yard line. And who's got the ball? Georgia thinks they have it.
It's on Georgia's bench.
Yep. But the referee will get right in the middle of that pack and try to figure it out. Florida. So Griffith makes the interception and then the mistake. And the mistakes that have been so costly to Georgia plague them again. They fumbled and that led to Chandler's touchdown. Here, they had an interception and lose the ball.
McCount threw it right to Griffith. There was nobody in the area. Here he reaches up, and he looks like he's going to be a quarterback, Al. He's going to lateral on the option play. Here he goes. Boom.
Trying to get it to Zambezi.
Boy, when you intercept that ball, take what you got. Here's another look at it. Griffith is just backing up into his zone, trying to hit Chandler, breaking across the middle, underthrown. Then he tries to lateral it to Zambezi, and that was his mistake.
And it was Tony Green who has the ball. He was also the man who recovered the fumble. Out to the 45-yard line. It was Florida's all-time leading ground game. Pickup of 3. It'll be second down and 7.
Georgia's defense has contained Florida's wishbone and their eye formation, inside and outside.
But Florida still very much in the thick of it as they were able to capitalize on a fumble deep in Georgia territory. They get the ball back now after the fumble on the interception return. Tony Green, you can see he had a good day against Tennessee in a game. The Gators and the Vols wound up in a 17-17 tie. Tony Green surpassing earlier this year Larry Smith's all-time ground-gaining mark at the University of Florida.
When you put Green in high formation, he's lined up directly behind the quarterback. He can run to either side, run up the middle, and he's a good pass receiver when he swings out behind Chandler.
They were also toying with the idea, Frank, of using him at quarterback. We saw some action at quarterback in spring drills.
Look out for the running pass.
Yep, you betcha. 6 minutes and 39 seconds remaining in the first half. Big weekend in Jacksonville. It always is the first weekend in November. 35,000 seats apportioned to the University of Georgia. The same allotment to the University of Florida. Panoramic view of Jacksonville as you look down on the Gator Bowl. Coming up at halftime, our Fireman's Fun flashback. And today we'll feature highlights of the wild one here between Georgia and Florida last year. A game in which the Gators had a chance to take a big step toward the Southeastern Conference title, had a 2-touchdown lead at the half, only to see Georgia come from behind to win it, and Georgia went on to win the SEC.
Vince Dooley, Coach of the Year in the Southeastern Conference. Georgia still hadn't developed, Florida hadn't developed anything that they can hang their hat on offensively. They've gained 70 yards, and Georgia has total offense of 220, and now fumbles can just change the ball game around. Georgia was going in leading 7-0. Looked like they were going to make it 14-0. They fumbled. The quarterback was injured. They come right back, handle the ball deep in their area of the field. Hutchinson breaks through and throws the quarterback for a loss, strips him of the ball, and Florida has a touchdown. Fumbles are what make coaches gray-headed, bald-headed, and old before their time.
Oh, I don't see any spots. I'm looking down at you right now. Just a few flecks here and there. They were resetting the change, the reason for the delay, and now we're set again. It is 2nd down and 7. Florida at their own 45-yard line out of the wishbone. Green for 2. Lewis Friedman, number 59, who was initially a walk-on, but he's earned his scholarship over the years. Friedman, a junior from Savannah, Georgia, along with Bill Krug, made the stop.
Georgia only plays 2 down linemen. They're 2 defensive guards. Everybody else is standing up, what we call a stance to where they can pursue the football in either direction.
Florida has converted 2 of 4 third down situations. Right now it is 3rd down and 6. And the count is under pressure, but swings it out to Chandler. Chandler to the 50. He can move. The 40. West to the 30. Tries to get a block and gets down to the 19-yard line. How do you stop the man? Wes Chandler.
Probably in a class by himself as a runner after he catches a short pass. Chandler is the right halfback in the wishbone. The quarterback McCown sprints to the left. Chandler fakes the block and catches the screen, cuts inside the key block and cuts right back down the middle, back outside. Is the way you make big gains on the screen. Inside, then back out.
Wes Chandler, 33-yard pickup, 1st down Florida at the Georgia 20-yard line. Georgia leading 14-7. Green hit at the 20-yard line. Hit initially by Jeff Lewis, who slowed him up. And then Ricky McBride came in to apply the finishing touches.
Georgia eventually again jumped into their gap 8 defense after the big play. Stopped Florida for 2 yards or less on 1st down.
2nd down and 8 at the 18-yard line as you look at the Goodyear blimps applying the panoramic shots of the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville on a sunny Saturday afternoon after a night of heavy rain. Look out. Look for Chandler that time. I think he thought West was going outside. He cut back in. Chandler throwing a block.
I think he just ran into the defensive safety man who was playing in man-to-man.
West was cutting in, and the count was thrown out.
Florida appears to have given up on their running game, throwing every time they get in scoring territory.
Now they've got a new quarterback in there, Collinsworth. LeCount was 4 out of 7 for 61 yards, but now Collinsworth comes in on 3rd down and 8. Collinsworth under a lot of pressure and sacked at the 27-yard line. Ronnie Swope, number 78, probably the best defensive lineman for the Bulldogs, making the tackle and taking the DB out of field goal range. So we will see a Premium here. To tee it up, there is Swope who made the last tackle. Burge Euphemian, Yarrow's younger brother, from the 43-yard line. From the 33-yard line, a 43-yard attempt. Alan Williams, who is the punter, does the holding. Euphemian, a low line drive kick. That's good. Burge Euphemian lining it through a 43-yard field goal. And so the sack and the loss by the quarterback Collinsworth doesn't hurt him. It's still within Euphemian's range, and it's 14-10, Georgia. There's Burge Here's your Previan to kick off. I wonder if he can pass as well as Garrow, Frank.
You mean the Kansas City game?
Oh, remember that? It was a Miami against Washington in the Super Bowl in LA. Your Previan kicking off. It is Scott Warner taking it at the 1, to the 5, the 10. Warner to the 20. And Scott takes it out to the 29-yard line. Bulldogs to set up there. First down. All right, the Wolverines of Michigan in action today. Let's find out what's happening with Bill Fleming.
Well, unfortunately, the score is wrong there. It's 14-7 in favor of Michigan over Northwestern. The Wolverines were stung 7-0 at the first quarter, but then they came right back, getting 2 quick touchdowns within the space of 4 minutes. So, Wolverines are back now, 14-7 over Northwestern. All right, Al.
Okay, Bill. First down, Georgia at the 29-yard line. And timeout will be called by Rogers as he looked at the alignment. They did not line up the way that Rogers had intended initially, and so Georgia forced to take a timeout.
Yeah, Norris didn't get out for the play. He was late taking the field. Most unusual. Florida's offense is having a difficult time circling the Georgia ends because Georgia plays a wide tackle 6 out, and the ends are lined up real wide, and their assignment is to turn every play inside. So this neutralizes Florida's one advantage, the sprint out quarterback or the sweep to Green and Chandler. They run a little bit up the middle, only about 70 yards, and they're trying to throw the ball every time they get into scoring territory.
Well, despite their problems, Frank, they're still very much in the ballgame. Due to a couple of breaks, they were able to capitalize. Georgia's leading 14-10. The big story for Georgia today has been number 36, Willie McClendon.
And the big story for Florida, Scott Hutchinson,
the defensive middle guard. Florida dominating it up top in this half, but Georgia's had the ground game. Through the middle, after the 31-yard line, goes James Womack, number 25. They've got their center running backs in right now. Womack and Ronnie Stewart. McClendon is getting a rest, a well-deserved one at this point. He's up to 140 yards on 8 carries. And as Bill just brought us up to date on, Michigan, number 6, out in front of Northwestern, 14-7. It is second down and 8. And Rogers will have to eat it back to the 26-yard line. Mel Flournoy doing a good job defensively. Doc Lucky, also 72, applying the pressure. Lost back to the 27-yard line. Third down and 12. Georgia, 3:17 to go. First half, Georgia leading Florida, 14-10.
Third down, 12.
To the 37, he's shy of a first down. James Womack, freshman, 5'10", from Warner Robins, Georgia. Picked up close to 10, but they needed 12, so it's fourth down and 2. And it brings in Mike Garrett to do the kicking. Wes Chandler dropping back to Florida at his own 15-yard line. And it's Chandler signaling for a fair catch and making it at the 23-yard line. The Gator defense holds the punt, and now Florida taking over at the 23-yard line after a 40-yard punt.
Only, 2:30 to play.
So let's see if Florida can get something going offensively. They capitalized on a fumble deep in Georgia territory to score their touchdown. Then took another fumble after an interception by Georgia down deep enough to let Upremian kick a field goal. And now they start from their own 23, trailing by 4 points. Collinsworth at quarterback. And picked off at the 31-yard line by Billy Woods, who's been hurt of late. Gets back in the lineup and makes the interception. So Collinsworth on the first play from scrimmage after the punt has it picked off by that man. Number 37, Billy Woods. From the end zone we see it.
This is just a wide receiver curling inside, and Collinsworth is way off target. He's inside considerably.
gets it right back. Remember, they lost Pyburn, their starting quarterback, with a knee injury. Rogers is taken over. He sets up from the 32-yard line and drops back and gets struck at the 44-yard line. Breaking through, Derek Burgess, a freshman from Brandon, Florida, out of the strong safety spot. Came blitzing in.
He lined up right on the line of scrimmage after Georgia quarterback had looked the defense over and came on the blitz. No one touched him.
8-yard loss. Ball at the 39 of Florida. Second down and 18, Georgia. Rogers coming the other way, pushing it out to McClendon. Inside the 30, drops to the 26-yard line. Chuck Hatch, 25, up to make the tackle. Gain of 13 on the play. And it'll be third down. Let's call it third and a long 4.
Third down, 5. Three of McClendon's runs have been on what we call the counter option, where they fake the back up the middle, and it's a predetermined called outside, predetermined play outside.
Unofficially now, McClendon has rushed for 153 yards in the first half. On third and a long 4, they dump it off complete to McLeod. At the 20-yard line, he's got enough for a first down. Penalty marker is down. The running back, Kevin McLeod, had enough for the first, but we've got a flag down. And it's going to be against Florida. Offside Florida. They'll probably decline it since the play netted more than 5. There's the signal. Decline. First down at the 19-yard line. This program being brought to you as an exclusive of ABC Sports. Let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
WFTV, Channel 9, Orlando.
First down, Georgia at the Florida 19-yard line. Rogers pitching again to McLeod. And McLeod gets to the 16, Tim Ite up to make the tackle. Clock is running 103, 102, 101, and now 1 minute remaining in the first half. And that camera right there, right in the middle of the Georgia cheering section. They're about ready to explode now as they move down deep into Florida territory. Second down and 7. Takes it back to Stewart to the 12-yard line. The freshman. Ronnie Stewart takes it to the 12. 36 seconds, and the clock's still running. Georgia was forced to take 2 timeouts in this half, so they have only 1 remaining timeout. And they're trying to conserve that right now. Big play here, third down and 3. Rogers nearly lost the exchange and then throws incomplete. The intended receiver was Ulysses Norris. And that stops the clock with 15 seconds remaining in the half.
Florida may get out with just a field goal, leaving them only 7 points behind, and they'll be lucky if they're lucky in that position.
And they'll attempt one right here. Rex Robinson from the 19-yard line at a slight angle. 29-yard effort. The snap was a bit high, but the kick is good. Rex Robinson able to boot it through with 11 seconds remaining in the first half. So Rex Robinson matching field goals with Burroughs Yepremian here in the second quarter. Garrow's younger brother. He kicked one from 43. This one from 29 yards by Robinson to make it 17-10 Georgia.
And Vince Dooley said he didn't want to get in a scoring race with Florida because he couldn't win.
We have a nice 166 here. Scott Hutchinson.
Stepping on the back and leaping, but he fell before the ball got there. They probably had a board in the back of the player so the cleat wouldn't dig into his back. We've done that before.
Now I know what happened. Around the country, you may have seen it in your local paper this week. They had a picture of one of the wire services second of Hutchinson. He looked like he was 10 feet in the air in the Auburn game trying to block an extra point. And I wondered, how does a guy ever get that high? Now we know. Line drive check taken down at the 6-yard line by Waters. Tony Waters moving to the outside and runs it out to the 30-yard line with 4 seconds remaining in the half. So time for only one play. Florida in need of 71 quick yards. Otherwise, they'll go into the locker room at halftime down by 7. They sent Gaffney wide to the left, Chandler wide to the right. They have LeCount back to the quarterback. He's been alternating with Collinsworth. LeCount, a lot of time. He's looking for Chandler and nearly has it picked off, but it's incomplete. And time has expired. The first half is history. And in a game that's figured to be rather low scoring, we have the opposite situation. 17-10, Georgia. Bill Fleming down on the field for a word with Vince Dooley.
All right, Coach, you must be very happy with the results of the first 30 minutes anyway.
Well, we're ahead, Bill, but this is the kind of game that Georgia and Florida has been playing every year, and I think that's the kind of game we're going to see in the second half, right?
You know, obviously, you have to be somewhat concerned about the loss of Jeff Fiber. It doesn't look, Vince, like he's going to get back, does it?
I don't think so. Jeff has had a bad knee, and I think he probably pinched his cartilage and bruised it, and I doubt if he'll get back, but we'll just have to go with a local boy, Steve Rogers from Jacksonville.
Is that going to change your offensive pattern any?
No, it don't. Rogers can execute the offense just as well as Fireman, and we'll miss Fireman, but we'll go with Rogers.
All right, Vince, good luck to you. Vince Dooley, the head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs, who are leading here at halftime by the score of 17-10. We'll be back in just a moment with our Fireman's Fun Flashback, more halftime activities after this word from one of our sponsors. Georgia and Florida. Long for the Bulldogs to score. Less than 5 minutes gone in the first quarter. Quarterback Ray Goff takes it in from the 9-yard line, and Georgia leads 7-0. The Gators responded 6 minutes later with Jimmy Fisher tossing the touchdown pass to Wesley Chandler. And this ball game was all tied 7-7 at the end of the first quarter. The Gators moved to a 14-7 lead in the second period, only to have this Ray Goff pass to Ulysses Norris score for Georgia. However, the try for the extra point was blocked, and Florida still had a 14-13 lead. The Florida offense fooled the Bulldogs on the next score, a 29-yard draw play by Earl Carr. This time, Georgia blocked the Florida extra point, and it was 20-13. Then, with only 9 seconds to play before the first half ended, Jimmy Fisher maneuvered the Gators to the 9-yard line. He tossed this perfect pass to Wes Chandler for the score, and it looked like Florida had a secure position with a 27-13 halftime lead. However, the Fighting Bulldogs were simply incredible in the second half. After making it 27-20 early in the third quarter, the Dogs scored again. Al Pollard going in from the 2, and it was all tied, 27-all. The clincher came with 12 minutes and 42 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Georgia drove down the field, and then Ray Goff makes the fake, and he sprinted the final 5 yards himself for the go-ahead TD. The Bulldogs added one more before it was over, and they won it 41-27. A fantastic second half comeback by the Bulldogs of Georgia.
Do you no wrong? And when I hold you in my home, my love can't do me no wrong. I feel good. I knew that I would, yeah. I feel good. Yeah. So good. So good. I got it.
Arrangement of that song that he wrote. And now here is the Dooley's Junkyard Dogs and Go Georgia Bulldogs.
And please don't go. Go.
James Brown and his own Dooley's Junkyard Dogs performed here with the 300-member University of Georgia Redcoat Marching Band under the direction of Gary Teskey. This Florida-Georgia game is being brought to you by General Motors, whose all-new 1978 midsize cars are designed and engineered for a changing world. By Texaco, working to keep your trust for 75 years by bringing you quality gasoline and other fine automotive products. A quick word here with Doug Dickey. Doug, let's have a quick analysis of that first half of what you're going to do in the second.
Well, Bill, we can't let them pitch the ball around the corner out there for 40 and 50-yard runs. There's no way you can let that happen. And other than that, we missed a couple passes, and we'd be in the ball game about reverse of that. You can't let them have those 50 and 60 and 70-yard runs around the corner. And maybe we've done something about that to half.
How about offensively?
Well, I think we just got to keep coming. We're not making much going straight ahead. We got to block a few more people in there for that extra yard. We're getting 3 instead of 5, and you got to have 5 when you run it in there.
Right. All right, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Let's go back upstairs now to Al Michaels.
All right, Bill, and what Dickey was referring to, of course, the long runs by one man, Willie McClendon of Georgia. He rushed for 154 yards in the first half. And when it comes time to pick our Chevrolet offensive and defensive players of the game, I think I know the man who's on top offensively, Frank Boyles.
McClendon is taking the option play outside, cut inside the cornerback, who was slow coming up on 3 occasions and made the big play. That's what Doug was referring to. I'm sure he's going to try to get his cornerback up, penetrating in the backfield.
Here we go to start the second half. Georgia kicking off. Carry long to Chris Collinsworth, who takes it 5 yards deep. He'll down it there. Florida will take over at its own 20-yard line. Rained last night. We had sunshine at the start of the game. High overcast right now and a threat of rain. But the field in good shape. And in a game that figured to be really a defensive struggle more than anything else, it's been the reverse. As you look at the Florida backfield, the count Green, Chandler, Robinson, and the Florida offensive line, Derek Gaffney, the split end. He comes out wide to the left. They line up with the wishbone. The count is the quarterback. And the second half underway from the 20-yard line, 1st and 10, as Tony Green takes it out to the 29-yard line. Tony Green, who was bottled up rather well for only 29 yards in the first half, moves through for 9 to set up a second down and 1. There's the Georgia defense. Goodwin's been in on a lot of tackles today. Stokes, the man to watch. Number 78, the defensive right tackle. The linebackers who have lots of experience. And the Georgia defensive backfield. Second down and 1 from the Florida 29-yard line. LeCount pitching it to Green. He's got the first down after the 37-yard line. And so Green is carried twice to start the second half. And Doug Dickey, we'd have to figure at this point, Frank Boyles, has to be mighty pleased what he's considered to be only 7 points down.
He hasn't done much offensively, but it looks like he's coming out in the wishbone and taking to Florida, taking to Georgia, something he's done all year long, rather than the eye.
At the 38-yard line. First down. It is Chandler who operates out of the right halfback spot in the wishbone. Stopped after a gain of 1. A reminder, after our Prudential College scoreboard at 4 o'clock Eastern time, we'll go to Baton Rouge. Keith Jackson and Ara Parsegian are there to bring in the game between LSU and Alabama, a big one. And then tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern time from Las Vegas, Howard Cosell and Chris Schenkel reporting on the big fight between Ken Norton and Jimmy Young. 9 o'clock Eastern time on ABC. Second down and 9, Florida. LeCount, he'll keep it out to the 45 and spun out of bounds at the 48-yard line by Johnny Henderson. Number 32, the Bulldog safety. And he's got a first down.
2 good first down drives there. Out of the wishbone. LeCount looks better running there, more comfortable than he did out of the eye.
Gaffney comes in with a play from Doug Dickey. And then splits out wide to the left. LeCount has carried the ball 4 times for 17 yards. First down at the 48-yard line.
The fake to Green. Back to throw. Looking for the tight end Gilbert and overthrows him. He was covered well by Henderson on the play. Lewis Gilbert, the intended receiver. Second down.
First down pass. Georgia's defense was crouched, Al. They were all up on there trying to stop the wishbone. But the wishbone pins Georgia's defense down. I think that most people would agree that a wide tackle 6 is vulnerable to a good, solid wishbone attack.
Florida that time, Frank, tried to go to their tight end. That's something they have done with infrequency this year.
It's gone to Chandler. They're going to look for him, the quarterback star.
Second down and 10 from the 48-yard line. And LeCompte put it up again. Has time again. And throws complete to the 37-yard line to Wes Chandler. Jeff Lewis got back there to make the tackle. But even when you know they're going to him, you can't stop him.
LeCompte didn't panic. He stayed in the pocket. His first choice was throwing to his left. Finally, Chandler gets open down the middle. A remarkable catch.
So Florida at the 34-yard line. And it's LeCompte again after faking to Wilder and bumped down at the 28-yard line. Lou Friedman making the tackle, number 59, the defensive left tackle for Georgia.
Florida's got some momentum. Georgia's defense is a little bit rattled right now.
Early stages, third quarter at the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville. Georgia leading 17-10, but Florida on the move. Second down, 3. Chandler down to the 26-yard line. Jeff Lewis making the tackle. West gets a yard or so. Third down. Third and about a yard and a half. And they'll spot it closer to the 25-yard line. Call it third down, 1. 11:46 to go. Third quarter. Green, the tailback. They give it to Wilder, the fullback, and let him try to get the yard, and he's close. Wilder, number 44, 6'1", 196-pounder from Keene City, Florida. Friedman again makes the stop, but he's got enough for the first down. So Florida keeps it going. Good drive to open the second half. They're down by 7 and moving.
The Georgia defense is giving ground very grudgingly. They've got a lot of poise. Giving Florida a different look every down.
Chandler wide to the right. Up in the eye again. Green is the tailback. Wilder the fullback. Perry LeCompte, who alternated with Collinsworth. In the first half, the quarterback. LeCompte back to throw. Under pressure now. Looks to Stevens and has it knocked down. The intended receiver, number 88. Tony Stevens. Number 37, Billy Woods, back to cover on the play.
Stevens is crossing, and Woods jumps up, nearly intercepted with his right hand, but couldn't get the handle. Crossing pattern. Outstanding play by Billy Woods.
LeCompte, now 5 out of 11 for 78 yards. He has Chandler wide to the right. He has Gaffney, who normally lines up as the split end, in tight on the left side. And the exchange, the fumble, and Georgia recovers. So Florida coming out moving. Looking defensively in the second half, and then all of a sudden, the bad exchange, the turnover, Georgia takes over.
Looks like LeCompte won't get back because the guard has him locked off. His own off guard blocks him off from recovering the fumble. Big break for Georgia.
Gordon Terry was the man who recovered it at the 24-yard line. First down, Georgia. They go with Steve Rogers, the quarterback. They lost their first-string quarterback, Jeff Clyburn, with a knee injury in the first half. It is McLean, Georgia's all-time leading ground gainer, who takes it out to the 28-yard line. They have been effectively containing Kevin McLean today. The big story has been his running mate, 36, William McClinton.
Sometimes when you key on their leading ball carrier, it allows the other to break open for the big play, and that's what's happened so far.
McClinton has busted a couple today, 1 for 51, 1 for 75. McLean has been held to only 22 yards and 8 carries. McLean again. Good move. Out to the 38-yard line. Stunner stuck this way. To a first down. Mike Dupre, 71. Made the tackle for the Bulldogs. At the 38.
That first down gave them some momentum. And one of Florida's problems has been long drives against their defense.
Georgia with the ball and leading 17-10. Rogers keeps. Gets out to the 41-yard line. Mike Dupre against 71. The tackle for Florida. 9:50 to go, third quarter. Let's check in with Bill Fleming.
All right, in Notre Dame, Indiana today, we have a second quarter score. The Irish out in front 14-7. They led 7-0, but then on the next kickoff following their touchdown, Ed Ivory of Georgia Tech ran it back 97 yards. All right, now.
Thank you, Bill. Irish leading by 7. Here, Georgia leading by 7. And it's second down, 7 at the Bulldog 41. McLean punched up in the middle and driven back, and it's Scott Hutchinson, 66, in on the tackle. Big game for Hutchinson and all of the seniors for Florida, Frank, in as much as the seniors of Florida have never beaten Georgia. Georgia's won this game the last 3 years running.
And they've come from behind the last 2 years to beat Florida. Third discouragement.
There's Hutchinson, number 66. He's done a job today defensively. Third down and 6. Just outside the 41-yard line. And Rogers is tripped up and ducked at the 40-yard line by guess who? There he is again, Scott Hutchinson. And we have him isolated.
Scott Hutchinson is lined up over the guard on this play, and he shoots the outside gap. The tackle was charging inside, and you can see this remarkable quickness and ability by diving forward and tackling the quarterback.
Georgia kicking. Mike Garrett gets it away. High kick. Wes Chandler, fair catch. And has some company at the 22-yard line. Fumbles there, but pounces on it, recovering for Florida. So surrounded by the Georgia Bulldogs, the special teams unit getting down in a hurry. Chandler able to pounce on his own fumble, 37-yard kick. So third quarter, 8:15 to go. It's Georgia 17 and Florida 10. Goodyear Blimp looking down on the Gator Bowl in Florida's largest city, Jacksonville. 70,000 packed in here today. Florida has the ball at its own 22-yard line. First and 10, Georgia leading 17-10. Harry LeCount makes the pitch, then pitches out of bounds, fortunately for the Gators.
Georgia had played the option play beautifully. They weren't fooled by the inside fake. 2 men on the quarterback and 1 outside. This is a triple option where he's going to fake to the fullback, to the viewer's left, lead back. Georgia was not fooled on the play. 2 men on the quarterback, fumble out of bounds.
It'll be second down and 10 from the 22-yard line. 8:09 to go, third quarter. Georgia leading by 7. Tony Green over the right side, and now just past the 25-yard line. Lewis Friedman, number 59, in on the tackle for Georgia. Once again, let's check in with Bill Fleming.
Right, in a key Atlantic Coast Conference game, North Carolina is now leading Clemson 10-7. They went out to a 3-0 lead, then Clemson went ahead 7-3, and on a 59-yard run by Amos Lawrence, Carolina is now in front.
All right, Bill, and Carolina, of course, coached by Bill Dooley, Vince Dooley's younger brother. So the Dooley men have a couple of leads. We'll see if they can keep them. LeCount to the 30, 35. Perry can move into Georgia territory and roll out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Billy Woods and Johnny Henderson there to get him after a 72-yard gain.
Make a play like that, it should give you enough momentum to score. LeCount just dropped back the pass after the fake to the I formation tailback. Georgia rushed outside very wisely. He scrambled right off the back door, then cut strong, and you can see how quick he is. 4.5 speed, 9.45 in the 100. Out of bounds, and finally stopped.
Terry LeCount takes Florida to the 26, so they're on the move again, as they were in the initial stages of the second half. Wilder Bursting through the middle. Inside the 20-yard line. Willie Wilder from Meade City, Florida. 6'1", 196-pounder.
Here's LeCount being knocked into the photographers and sideline viewers. Whoop. And a good high jumper.
And LeCount is out right now. They have John Brantley in at quarterback, number 12, giving it to Wilder. And Wilder stopped by Ronnie Swope. So Brantley, the number 3 quarterback for Florida, taking over after the long run by LeCount. He is the brother of linebacker Scott Brantley.
He was redshirted last year. Yeah, he was redshirted last year, so he's had some experience.
He is the 3rd quarterback that Doug Dickey has utilized today. He's gone with LeCount, Collinsworth, and now Brantley. 3rd down and 2. Chandler, first down, inside the 10, and a touchdown, his 2nd of the day. Wes Chandler, who has caught a touchdown pass, a spectacular one-handed grab. Then he lines up as the right halfback in the wishbone. Breaks the tackle and goes in. He's got him isolated.
It's a basic handoff play. He breaks right up the middle, then comes back against the green and outruns everybody.
Berger Premian will try to tie it. Bad snap, and the Premian gets tackled as Williams couldn't hold it. So Georgia maintains the lead. Johnny Henderson breaking through to make sure nobody could run it into the end zone after the snap was mishandled by Williams. So 6:15 to go in the 3rd, and Georgia hanging on by 1. Berger Premian ready to kick off with 6 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Georgia leading Florida 17-16. Scott Warner is back deep. And it's Warner who will take the kick at the 10. 15 to the 20. And dropped to the 24-yard line. Here again a look, the replay of the bad snap. And then Williams trying to put it down.
Like he just juggled it. Yeah. Just didn't know what to do with it. He fumbled it and then couldn't get the handle.
There, of course, is Wes Chandler, who ran for the touchdown. He's also caught a touchdown pass. Georgia taking over with Rogers at quarterback. And Rogers, the pitch to McClendon, the fumble, and the Gators of Florida, I believe, have it. Let's see. Nope. Georgia. Boy, it looks like the Gators had it surrounded.
They had 5 men, and there was one lone Georgia man there, and he got it. From our place in the booth, it didn't look like he had a chance.
Oh, Mark Hodge, 88, made the recovery amidst the white shirts of the Gators. So Georgia, instead of losing position, a 7-yard pickup, 2nd down and 3 at the 32-yard line. McLean and McClendon are the running backs. They get it to McLean out to the 37-yard line. 1st down, Georgia. Here's the fumble again. Let's see how Hodge ever got there.
Florida had played the play beautifully, and the ball bounced out. You can see the white shirts. He has it, but lo and behold, it works right out. Number 88, Stevens caught it. Got it.
1st down at the 37-yard line for Georgia. Rogers, down he goes, and they'll whistle it dead at the 32-yard line. Interestingly enough, in this half, they've only gone to McClendon once. That was on the late pitch and the fumble. McClendon, a tremendous first half with 154 yards in 9 carries, but they've been basically going with McLean here in the second half. It is 2nd down, 15 at the 32-yard line. Georgia with the ball and a 1-point lead. On the delay, McLean, and he runs right into Charlie Williams. Number 53, the senior linebacker from right here in Jacksonville. making the tackle. Third down, 14. Let's get a word from Bill Fleming.
All right, in the Oklahoma State game, Jerry Miller has just scored for the Cowboys on a 2-yard run after a 75-yard drive. And how about this one? Oklahoma State ahead of Oklahoma 7-0 in the first quarter in Stillwater.
Back here, third down, 13, 34-yard line. With Rogers retreating. Getting time. Going long, but overshooting his intended receiver, number 83, Jesse Murray. Derek Burgess covering on the play. So Florida has dug in again and held again. The defense has done a fine job in the third period. And Wes Chandler goes back to receive the kick from Mike Garrett.
Florida's defense has got some momentum and motions going for them now.
Chandler. Another fair catch is called for and made at the 26-yard line. So Garrett's been getting it up enough hang time. Chandler's been calling for a fair catch in each instance. 3:33 to go in the third, with Georgia leading Florida 17-16. Well, you've heard about beauty shots. There's one from our director, Larry Camp. The Georgia mascot, the Bulldog. 17-16 Georgia. 3:33 to go in the third, and 26-yard line. Terry LeCount is back in at quarterback and gives the ball to Willie Wilder straight ahead. Robert Goodwin made the tackle. As you take a look at some scores from the East, with Yale leading Princeton by 3 touchdowns in the second, and Brown and Dartmouth scoreless. Joe Resnick and the Crimson out in front by 6, and Cornell leading Columbia. Second down and 5 at the 31-yard line. Wilder again goes straight ahead and bulls his way out to the 35-yard line. Lewis Friedman, number 59, made the tackle. Colgate leading Bucknell. Friedman, number 59 for Georgia, a fellow who was a walk-on initially, Frank, and a fellow who earned his scholarship. And you can see why today. He's been in on a lot of tackles.
Made a lot of big plays all year long.
It is third down and a yard as they come up to the wishbone. Gators at their own 36-yard line. LeCount, first down and then some. Straight ahead to the 42-yard line. Phil Krug making the stop.
Since Florida's gone to wishbone now, they've got some offensive movement. They've been able to establish a little fullback yardage up the middle, and that's going to give them a chance to get the ball to Chandler and Green going wide. LeCount has scrambled twice, and once you have some success, it becomes infectious, and that's what they want out of LeCount, to go back to pass and then take off.
You saw the figures, Florida rushing here in the third quarter. That's almost the reverse of what we saw in the second quarter. But LeCount bumps into Wilder. Nonetheless, they avoid the fumble, and Wilder takes it out to the 46-yard line where Bill Krug makes the stop. Under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. The annual shootout in Jacksonville. Good ball game. Georgia leading 17-16, with Georgia dominating the first half, led by only 7, and Florida has dominated the third quarter to pull to within 1 and on the move again. Second down and 7 at the 46. Look out into Georgia territory, and Terry down the sideline and pumped out at the 36-yard line. Ben Zambezi, number 44, the tackle for Georgia. We'll see it from the end zone.
The triple option fake to the fullback, and watch LeCount accelerate and cut inside the defensive cornerback. Krug turns back to the outside and shows his blazing speed right here.
Terry LeCount. He's been alternating with Collinsworth the quarterback, but it's been LeCount having a good day so far. At the reins here, Tony Green fumbles and kicked out of the air by the Bulldogs. Georgia has it at the 46. It is Bill Krug. Number 42 took the fumble out of the air after Tony Green had moved forward for a good gain. To the break to the Bulldogs, it was Ricky McBride, 52, who knocked the ball out of Green's hands, recovered by Krug.
It was a power play, and Green had some yardage. He tried to cut back, and hard tackle, got his headgear right on the ball, and Krug catches it in the air. Tough break for Florida.
So back come the Bulldogs, Krug recovering it. at quarterback. Penalty marker down. Rogers gets to midfield. Del Flournoy, the tackle. There is the happy number 42, the rover back Bill Krug after the fumble recovery. Marker down on the last play. And the call is against Georgia. Procedure and then offside against Florida and offsetting penalties. So scratch it and start again. First and 10 at the 46.
Bill Krug caught the fumble in the air. He's been an outstanding player for Georgia. He's their cornerback, strong safety that plays in, linebacker, all over the field, and does a good job at it.
There is Clyburn, number 7, the starting quarterback for Georgia, knee injury. First quarter, Rogers has taken over and has gone the rest of the way as he fakes to McLee and then tries to flip it off. Incomplete. Ulysses Morris, 85, was the intended receiver. 1 minute and 6 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Check some scores from this area. Kentucky and Vanderbilt, nothing yet. Auburn leading Mississippi State 3-0. That's Portella again kicking a field goal in the first quarter. Tennessee leading Memphis State by 18 at the half. Portella last week kicked 5 in Auburn's 29-14 win over Florida. Second and 10. Rogers for Hodge, incomplete. Mark Hodge, the intended receiver. And so it'll be third down.
He had Hodge wide open on an option, play-action type fake. Ended up into a quarterback pass, and he couldn't get the ball to him.
Georgia is not your prototype passing team. Let's face it, this is a ball club that came in having completed an average of only 5 passes a game. But they've done enough damage.
Ball, right at
Yep, they've done enough damage on the ground, in particular in the first half with McClendon, who has been sparingly used, surprisingly, here in the second half. On third down, Rogers under a lot of heat and sacked back at the 33-yard line. Mike Dupre leading the charge, number 71. So the passing game on that particular series did not show a whole lot, and that's going to set up Garrett for another punt with Chandler dropping back as the single safety. Mike Garrett back at his own 20. Angles to the near side. And takes the Florida bounce, so Georgia has to down it. Jesse Murray there to down it at the 38-yard line. A reminder, coming up, 9 o'clock Eastern time. NFL Monday Night Football. Good ball game. Washington Redskins and the Baltimore Colts. The Colts, led by Bert Jones and Lydell Mitchell, 6-1 on the year. Washington, 4-3. Beat Philadelphia last week by 6. Joe Theismann, Gene Fugit and company with George Allen. 9 o'clock Eastern time over most of these ABC stations. First and 10. Florida. At their own 39-yard line. They trail by a point in the closing seconds of the third quarter. Johnson, the freshman, Dave Johnson, out to the 43-yard line. Ronnie Swopes made the tackle, and that should do it for the third quarter. Clock is running with 5 seconds to play in the third quarter, and so we will go into the fourth at the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville before a crowd of 70,000 at the end of 3. It's Georgia 17, Florida 16. NCAA college football, Florida, Georgia will continue after this commercial message and a word from our local station. 5-3 overall record, 2-2 in the conference coming in. Florida, 3-2-1 overall, 2-2 in the SEC coming in. Florida with the ball, Georgia with the lead, 17-16. It is 2nd and 9. Look out. Going to be a big loss. Big defensive play. Back to the 41-yard line. Jeff Lewis and Bill Krug chased it down. But they're going to say it was dead at the 31.
Let's see, we have a look from the end zone. There was a sprint-out pass, all run. There wasn't any option to throw. Georgia penetrated the end tackle and strong safety. There's nowhere to go.
Oh, my, they said his knee was down at the 31-yard line. Close call. And that call cost Georgia's defense 10 yards. They'll spot it at the 31 with 11:43 to go in the game. And the Bulldogs hanging on by a point. The St. John's River here in Jacksonville, Florida. Back of the Gator Bowl. Back to the gills. 70,000 to look down from our Goodyear Cliff. And with 11:43 to go, it is third down and 17, Florida at the Georgia 31-yard line. Moving down to the 28 and stopped by Lewis Friedman. So what they were really doing there is just keeping it, trying to, within Ukrainian field goal range.
Every yard could make a difference right here. This is just in his range.
So Ukrainian, who earlier kicked a 43-yard field goal, will attempt right now a 44-yard field goal. Williams to hold at the 34. They're trying to give Florida the lead. And the kick is no good. Wide to the left. So Georgia maintains its 1-point edge. Let's check some other scores with Bill Fleming.
All right, and let's take a look at how the top 10 are faring on this Saturday. Obviously, Texas and Houston play later on this evening. Alabama and LSU coming up after our ball game. Baton Rouge, Louisiana on ABC. Oklahoma State 14-7. We'll bring you up to date on some of those details, but right now, it's back to action in this one.
All right, Bill, and it's Randy Cook who takes over at quarterback for Georgia. A fumble, and the Gators surrounded. Do they get it, though, at the 25-yard line? Let's see. The Gators think they have it. And they do. So they bring in a new quarterback. Randy Cook. And we have it again from the end zone. We'll see it again.
Cook is trying to take the handoff. And McLean is trying to cut back, and he gets in the way of offensive lineman, gets in his way, and Florida's having a hard time grabbing the handle on it, so they fumble this one around and finally get it.
It is Scott Brantley who eventually comes up with the ball. Number 55 at the bottom of the pile, and Florida has it at the 25-yard line. So they're right back in business. Georgia has been totally stymied here in the second half, and Wes Chandler out of the wishbone spot takes it to the 23-yard line. Jeff Lewis, 61, made the stop for Georgia with 10:40 to go.
I think Chandler's one of the most versatile players that we have in America today. To be able to run as effectively as he had from the wishbone after being a wide receiver for 3.5 years is really phenomenal.
There's the man who recovered the fumble, the linebacker, Brantley, whose brother came in for a couple of plays at quarterback. Number 55, Scott Brantley. Gain of 2 on the last play. Second down, 8. Each team has turned the ball over 4 times today. LeCount down to the 20. Johnny Henderson made the tackle. So it is third down and 5, and once again they are in Ukrainian's range. The dejected Burrs Ukrainian upset over missing what would have been the field goal to put Florida out in front. They very shortly had another chance.
Florida's made 2 drives, fumbled to stop them. Then they've made the 3rd drive, missed the field goal, and now they have the fullest scoring opportunity they've had this half.
LeCount on the last run going up and over the 100-yard figure on the day. Florida 7 out of 12 and third down conversions today. Chandler. I think he's got it. Just inside the 15. Billy Woods made the tackle. Chandler noted as a wide receiver. This guy looks like he's been playing running back all his life.
He's just a versatile athlete that has great acceleration and running ability to move, make some moves also. That was a big first down.
Wes Chandler picking up 5, getting the first down at the 15-yard line. 9 minutes to go. Georgia leading by a point. Florida knocking on the door at the 15-yard line. Wilder gets 4 or 5 through the middle. Down to the 11-yard line. Bill Krug and Jim Griffin made the tackle. Wilder averaging just a shade under 4 yards a carry today.
Al, he had both hands on that football very wisely. The one thing Florida must do, if they don't score, is leave the ball close for your pressure to kick the field goal.
Second down and 6 at the 11-yard line from the wishbone. Johnson, the freshman, to the 8-yard line. Ronnie Stokes made the tackle. So now, third down and a long 3.
They don't make it, keep it in front of those goalposts, or it'll be nothing but a chip shot.
They've got to get it inside the 5 to almost the 4-yard line for a first down. They're at the 8. Third down. Chandler, and I think he's got another big first down. Chandler, who got the first down on the 3rd and 5 from the 20, gets inside the 5. They take a look. First down. He's done it again. On another third down play, Wes Chandler.
It looked like he'd been running that position all of his life, because when he got to the defense where there's no more room, he just jumped right over the pile for the first down.
He knew where he had to go. He picked up the first down. First and goal. Florida at the 4. Georgia dominated the first half. Florida totally dominating the second half. Chandler to the 1.
He exploded through the hole. Great acceleration. Georgia defense is tired, Al. They've been out there this entire second half.
You betcha. And every time Georgia's got the ball, they've given it up in a hurry. So it is second down. Goal. 6:45 to go. Florida trying to move out in front. Chandler. Touchdown. Wes Chandler. They ran that play 4 times from the 20-yard line in. And Chandler picks up 2 key first downs, got down to the 1, and then in. There he is, Wes Chandler, his 3rd touchdown of the day. 2 on the ground, 1 on the pass reception, and Florida has the lead.
What I liked about it, protecting that football now. He had both hands on it. He wasn't going to fumble it.
And when you've got a 5-point lead, it makes sense to go for 2, and that's exactly what Florida will do here. They lead 22-17, but as they line up, the count says, wait a second, let's talk this over. Let's get the play right. No sense really trying to get an extra point to lead by 6. When you've got a 5-point lead, you better try to make it 7.
Here's the touchdown. Florida's favorite play on the goal line. Turn, safe handoff. You can see the extra effort that Chandler had by accelerating across the goal line. Here's a look from behind the ball carrier. You can see him protecting the ball with both hands, going high and twisting. This is the key when you jump, is twist your body where they can't get a shoulder pad underneath you. Looks like the days of the single wing, Al. Boy, Tennessee's fullback to do that.
So LeCount going over how to work the 2-point option right now. Let's check in with Bill Fleming.
All right, and another update on the Oklahoma State-Oklahoma game. Billy Von Schumann has just kicked a 58-yard field goal for the Sooners. And so, in the second quarter now, the score, 14-10, Oklahoma State in front of Oklahoma. And Oklahoma State just had a 71-yard run by Heisman Trophy candidate Terry Miller.
Thank you, Bill. 6:32 to go, fourth quarter. Florida leading for the first time in the game, 22-17. 2-point conversion. They've got Chandler lined up in a slot to the right. They also have 12 men on the field, and the 12th is just now leaving. So they're back to 11. And LeCount looks and doesn't get it. Had to keep it. And the conversion effort fails. But Florida has the lead for the first time today. 6:32 to go. At the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, the Gators lead the Bulldogs 22-17. Boyles and Bill Fleming playing at the Gator Bowl. Florida leading Georgia 22-17. This is the first half of a big NCAA doubleheader. Coming up next, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Bear Bryant and Alabama against LSU from Baton Rouge as Berger Premian kicks off with 6.5 minutes to go in the game. Scott Warner takes it to the goal line, to the 10, to the 20, to the 22-yard line. So the Georgia Bulldogs, who dominated the first half, they've done nothing offensively here in the second half, and time's running out on them now as Florida has the lead for the first time today. 6:26 to go.
And a little bit of wind in their face. Time of possession so far this half, Al, 17 minutes.
Randy Cook is the quarterback. The third utilized by the Bulldogs today. And Cook dropping back and looking. Throws it out to the right flat. Incomplete. No flag. Kevin McLee was hit hard on the play.
That was close.
Richard Ruth gave him a shot, and then McLee looked around for a flag and said, where was it? Look at that. That is almost the reverse of the first half.
We would have predicted it to have. Florida just deleted some of their offense, and they looked effectively and successful this half.
Georgia lost Jeff Pyburn, their first-string quarterback. They went with Steve Rogers, and now with Cook here in the fourth quarter. Ruth applies the pressure. They dump it off, and it is incomplete. McClendon, the intended receiver. They put the pressure on Randy Cook, who's a sophomore from Birmingham, Alabama. Sylvester King led the charge. There's Cook on the year. You can see he hasn't played that much. He's thrown only 21 passes in the 8 games. Completing 33%. Third 10. Incomplete. Intended for Ulysses Morris. So Georgia trying to do it through the air.
With their third-string quarterback, can't do it. Hard to do with a third-string quarterback. Georgia has suffered since the injury to Pyburn.
So Garrett has to kick again, and that Georgia defense, which has been on the field almost the whole second half, will be coming right back. Wes Chandler at the 35. He's got a flag down. Chandler called for a fair catch, but a marker is down back where Garrett was standing. So we may have running into the kicker. Let's see.
That's what he called, Al. First down. First and 10, and gives him 15 yards. First down.
Now that's when a coach gets gray hairs.
6 minutes to go. Block kick doesn't help you too much here. You really want the football.
We'll see it again. It was Tim Height with the lead. Number 29.
Florida had 10 receiving, 10 rushing, and you can see him hit his leg, and it was rushing the kick. Gives Georgia new life. Here's another shot of him. You can see him come in from the right side, catch him with his foot in his hair, in the air.
First down, Georgia, out of the 37-yard line. Cook, whoop. Richard Ruth would have had an easy touchdown, but they move it out to the right flat. Incomplete.
That was the famous play used by Texas A&M against Texas. You throw the ball deliberately on the ground to where the Florida team will relax. Then you pick it up since it's a lateral and throw down the field. It went 95 yards. This is an incredible play. And he throws the ball intentionally on the ground. The receiver is supposed to pick it up and kick his feet like it's a bad play, doggone it. And then he turns and throws the ball deep down the field. But Florida was not fooled. They were back there.
Second down at 10. Boy, you talk about pulling some tricks out of the bag. Cook takes it out to the 42, Flournoy.
Al, Texas A&M scored on Texas from their own 5-yard line. You talk about courage to use that play from their own 95 yards for a touchdown. That's the second time I've seen that in my lifetime.
I thought only Nevada Vegas would pull something like that off. Whew.
Florida has gained the lead in statistics.
There are the overall figures on the day. And look out, blitz is on, and a big defensive play by the freshman Derek Burgess. Came roaring through, picked up Randy Cook. So Cook, a man under siege, and watch Burgess, number 22. He has a clear shot.
If you're not a passing team, the strong safety blitz that you're unaccounted for, Burgess had a straight shot at Cook, and he got in and threw him for the big loss.
Here's Garrett. They don't rush this time. We still have a flag anyway. Chandler will call for a fair catch, make it at the 30, but a flag at the line of scrimmage. Penalty marker down. It has nothing to do with Garrett or running into the kicker because they laid off him this time.
Seems to be on Florida. Maybe it was defensive holding at the line of scrimmage. It was either offensive line holding or defensive line holding.
We have not had a holding penalty in the game. We've got a procedure call.
Procedure call.
And against Georgia,
what it was, number 88 was lined up as a guard. He didn't get his slip over in time. He has to have a 50 through 70 if he's going to line up inside.
They decline it, so Florida will have it. Gators at their own 30. We have 4.5 to go, and Florida with a 5-point lead. Quarterback, and right now it's time on their side. LeCount moving out to his right and tackled back at the 29-yard line by Robert Goodwin. With the clock running with 4.5 to go, and Florida dominating the second half. They were down by 7 at halftime, but have scored twice in the second half to lead 22-17. Wes Chandler has scored 3 touchdowns, 1 on a tremendous reception, 2 on runs. Now, John Brantley in at quarterback on second down, 11. Here's Chandler. He likes to run to the left side. After the 33-yard line, Billy Woods made the tackle. Frank, I think one of the key things here in the second half, as far as Georgia is concerned, offensively, McClendon had such a tremendous first half rushing for Georgia, but he's been an invisible man here in the second half.
You really dug Dickey's comments. We're going to stop that play. And that was the wide pitch where the cornerback was laying back and didn't come and force it. That's what they've done. Cover the trail man, make the quarterback keep it.
3rd down and 7, Florida from the 33-yard line. Chandler again. And this time they're able to stop that maneuver. After the 34-yard line, he goes for a gain of 1. Bill Krug came underneath. Coming up next, Alabama, LSU from Baton Rouge. Bear Bryant and company. 6-1 against LSU, led by Charles Alexander. 4-2 coming up after our Prudential College scoreboard. Alan Williams, 3rd in the nation in punting. To Pickett, standing back at his own 20-yard line. Fair catch called for, but they let it bounce at the 40. And it rolls dead at the 33-yard line.
They nearly blocked it. A high snap takes you about 4/10 of a second longer to get a punt off. He had to leap for that snap. By the time he could land, place the ball, and take his steps, Georgia was close to blocking it.
So as you look down into the Gator Bowl, the culmination of a big weekend for the Florida and Georgia partisans who came early and are staying late with 2:44 remaining in the game. Steve Rogers back in at quarterback for Georgia. The pitch to McClendon. Out past the 40 to the 44-yard line. So McClendon, who was the star of the first half, and the invisible man here in the second, takes it out to the 44. Richard Ruth makes the tackle. It'll be second down. 2:20 to go. Rogers on a keeper. First down to the Florida 48-yard line. Richard Ruth again in on the stop. First down, stops the clock with 2:06 to go.
Florida has deployed their defense to defend against the pass. Georgia's taking advantage of it with 2 offensive plays.
Keep in mind, the Bulldogs have all of their timeouts remaining. 3 timeouts left. They're at the 48 of Florida. They trail by 5. Rogers tries to come back the other way, and again it's Richard Root, seemingly in on every play, along with Scott Hutchinson, who makes the tackle. So the Georgia bench in Cooley. They had a 7-point lead at halftime. Florida was lucky Georgia was leading by only 7. But now Georgia has to come from behind, and they take a timeout with 1:32 to go, and Florida leading 22-17. Florida leading at 1:32 to go. Georgia has the ball. Second down, 15. At the Bulldogs, 48-yard line. Rogers back to throw. Incomplete. Intended for number 88. Archive. And it's third down and 15. Tim White covered on the play. So third down and 15, Georgia. Rogers today, the man in at quarterback right now for the Bulldogs. 1 out of 7 for 6 yards. On third and 15, look out. Rogers fumbles. And at the 31-yard line, Florida has it. And probably the ball game with it. The Florida Gators. At the 31-yard line, Charlie Williams put the rush on. And Mike Dupre recovered the fumble.
Well, when you're not ordinarily a passing team, you get behind late, your pass protection is the first thing to break down. Georgia quarterback had no chance to look up and pick out any receivers on any of those passes they had caught.
So the Gators have it. Georgia has 2 timeouts left, which they can take on defense. 1:20 to go. LeCount, the quarterback. He wants to stay in bounds and does. Dropped at the 25-yard line by Ben Zambezi, and the clock rolls with 1:08, 1:07. So Florida leading by 5, 22-17. Our thanks to Spotterville Field statistician Ricky Bernstein with 58 seconds remaining in the game. LeCount has carried the ball 16 times for 106 yards. He's going to come out. And Collinsworth takes over for him. Let's keep it on the ground. Try to eat up the clock. Chandler inside the 20, and Wes is rolled out at the 15-yard line. Jeff Lewis made the tackle. 22-17 Florida. Well, our Chevrolet offensive player of the game, that man right there, Wes Chandler. He scored 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 on a reception. Our Chevrolet defensive player of the game, Scott Hutchinson, the great middle guard, number 66 for Florida. In each man's name, a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund at the University of Florida, as Collinsworth tries to eat up more of the clock. 30 seconds. We'll see if Georgia takes its timeouts on defense. They'll take one of them here, and there is Wes Chandler. No doubt about it, Mr. Royals.
He's a great punt returner, receiver, kickoff returner, and now he's a runner to go with it.
Our Chevrolet offensive player of the game. And there's a man who's dominated the picture defensively, especially in the first half, because defensively, Florida hasn't had to do much here in the second half.
Florida was not doing anything defensively, so Hutchinson made up his own mind to break through the line. He caused 2 fumbles to stop Florida twice. Here he is. He stripped in the quarterback deep in Florida's territory. They've set up Florida for a field goal.
So Georgia taking the timeout here. They have 1 timeout left. We have 30 seconds on the clock. Florida leads 22-17. It is second down, 9 at the 14-yard line. Brantley is the quarterback. And Brantley will just fall down with it at the 14-yard line. Now Georgia has 1 timeout left. And they will take it here. So they are out of timeouts. We have 27 seconds remaining in the game. third down upcoming for Florida, and the Gators on their way to a win, leading by 5. Bradley dropped back of the line of scrimmage on a third down play as the clock runs out. Georgia has no timeouts left. The clock ticking away, and Florida, Doug Dickey in the saddle. They come from behind. They were totally outclassed in the first half and then completely turned it around in the second half. Georgia gained 257 yards to 102 for Florida in the first half. In the second half, Florida gained 234 yards. Georgia was held at 15. In the second half, we saw 2 separate ball games today.
Would you say it was good coaching at the half?
Oh, boy, I'm telling you.
But really, the difference, I think, was McCount. He may have found himself in this ball game. He scrambled twice for big plays. He handled the option play. He handed off. He did everything you could ask of the quarterback in that second half. And if he comes out with confidence, Florida will be tough for the rest of the year.
Whatever Dickey told them at halftime, they ought to bottle it and patent it. So, it's all over at the Gator Bowl, where Florida has defeated Georgia 22-17. Well, the long weekend is over as far as the Bulldog partisans are concerned, but I guess it's just an intermission for the Gator partisans. The Gator won 22-17. The nice Saturday night in Jacksonville.
Well, the Gators needed it. They've had an up and down season. They've got a lot of ability. They've been hurting defensively with injuries, but this is a great win, and it could propel them right into a successful season in the bowl game.
The executive producer of NCAA football is Roone Arledge. Today's coverage of the Florida-Georgia game was produced by Bob Goodrich, directed by Larry Tam, technical director Werner Gunther, associate director Bob Deacon. Now this is Al Michaels along with Frank Broyles and Bill Fleming saying so long from the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida. Don't forget to stay tuned immediately following the Prudential College scoreboard for the second half of today's NCAA football doubleheader as the Crimson Tide of Alabama beat the Tigers of LSU in Baton Rouge. NCAA college football, Florida, Georgia, has been brought to you by all the new 1978 Chevrolets. Now at your Chevrolet dealers everywhere. By Sears Die-Hard Battery with extra starting power to start your car when most batteries won't. And by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. Lift provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Travel arrangements paid through and the promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United built the largest airline in the free world around you. Again, the final was Florida 22, Georgia 17. This has been an ABC Sports presentation. The Gators over the Bulldogs at the Gator Bowl by 5.